Welcome back, MTG Joe here. I'm here with a spicy one. We're going to be doing some testing of decks that have shown up for Explorer. This is from Exotic Roller, who hit number 11 Mythic this month with. It is a Izzet Fires of Invention Cavalier deck. So we've seen stuff like this in the past. In Standard, it's a Karuga list, so all our cards cost 3 or more mana. So we got some additions to the deck. We have Fable the Mirror Breaker. Lets us filter our draws, copying Cavaliers, all that jazz. We circumvent the 3 mana by playing Brazen Borrow and Bonecrusher Giant that have the 3 CMC but have 2 mana interaction spells. We're also playing Divide by Zero as a tempo play that gives us a lesson board here to get some value, some Chandras, Sphinx to set up our draws, Cavaliers at the top end, some Angers as sweepers, and then Castles, Sokuzan, Den. There is not a Hall of the Storm Giants, which seems wrong. So we are gonna fix that. Alright, cool. So we'll give this a go. So I'm gonna be recording a bunch of stuff in advance of my upcoming vacation, just so there's some content here and there while I'm off. So we're just testing out decks. Just casual setting. We are jumping into the play queue, just running through these things, seeing what works, what doesn't, tweaking decks to our liking. There was a mono red version of this deck that also played like Karn, Citadel, that you use the red land destruction spell, targeted, it's an indestructible land. But I'm interested to see how this Izzet version plays. I liked Fires. I have a lot of the paper version of the deck. So I want to see how this plays out. When it goes first. So really you do want to play Fires, but I think this hand can let us draw to that. And Spirits, we can also try to tempo them. Fable could be good bait. I think the nice thing with Fires is it will allow us... Okay, so the scary thing here is they're drawing cards, which we don't love. What we might have to do is do this with the expectation that this is going to be countered, and then have to use this Anger of the Gods. Problem is, so this is probably the absolute worst matchup. We are a 3 CMC deck and higher, and they are a deck that plays a 1-drop and then just goes to town. So they had the guy Snare last turn too. And at this point they can buff this up to 2/3, so it even gets around the Anger. I'm gonna play this out. They tap out, I'll bounce the Ascendant Spirit, but again, I just need to bait them. We're in a bad spot. No Fires. I'm just gonna... The chances of us winning this game are like 0, or like so little. Let's just chalk that up. The fact they're even taking that long to play a counter spell, that's why I like to play queue sometimes. When you're testing, try it out. That matchup we're seldomly gonna win. They need to just tap out and be under the gun, so that sounds good. So we'll keep this. We can go Fires into Chandra. We have Anger to sweep up the board, so even if this is a mono red matchup, so we see Orzhov, which is interesting. Could be Esper control, which is also probably not a great matchup. Doom Foretold. That is definitely Doom Foretold. So his fires might not be long for the world. The nice thing is our tokens survive around Doom Foretold. As for Doom, oh, come on. So we need to hit a land here. So we're going to ditch both these Angers. Got there. Getting Chandra out is worth it.
When people start screaming, yup, you're going down.
So they can play out Doom next turn. If they do, I'm gonna get rid of Fable here. Cavalier has the highest upside, but I think it is right to get Fable because we can just pump through a bunch of damage. Enters the battlefield, discarding a number of cards and draw that many. So let's do this, see what we draw.
This'll be easy.
Go Sphinx of Foresight.
This is gonna hurt.
Just smack them for a bunch here. So now they're just dead to a bunch of things. Okay, that game went better. Like, Kiki just wasn't going to do enough there. Kiki's job was to get rid of those two Angers for us. Because if they sweep the board here, I still have Chandra, I can sack the fires. We'll set an upkeep stop. Could be relevant. There's no Teferi in this format. Puts them to 4. They need to deal with my Sphinx here. Okay, which they do. It's an interesting conundrum. I think we still get rid of Cavalier here. That actually saved them.
Today's my lucky day.
So play a Bone Crusher here. Don't want more lands. This will draw us a bunch of cards. Okay, so then I have the Stomp. So should have them regardless. I have Chandra Alt coming up. They are digging. I guess they were dead either way. Like, Chandra technically buys them a turn. Kruga did its job. Ooh, odd. But you're still dead. Let them know we had it. Get the free value. Well, when they don't counter every single one of your spells, the game goes a lot better. So, Spirits as expected. Terrible, terrible matchup. Esper Doom. That one's an interesting one because they can lock us out because we're playing to the board. So it's very easy for them to lock us out. We were able to get under them and just kind of get accrued card advantage. That big chunk of damage with the Cavalier was quite good. So it's going to be control. So let's try this one out. Let's try to find a Fires of Invention. You know what? I think I like the Divide by 0. I think I like all these, to be honest. No, we're gonna want to find a land at some point. Okay, this is Sultai Ultimatum. Could see Thoughtseize potentially from them. This matchup, we just want to be aggressive. Okay, so you see my hand. It's probably a divide by 0. Yeah. Flash this in. They usually play Extinction Event as their sweeper. So I'm going to play this out this turn. I'm not really concerned on 4 or 5 mana to counter their spell, because I could just bounce it back if it's like Gargaroth, and even then it lets me play with Brazen Borrower. This lets me find potentially another land, so I can go Brazen and flash it in. I can go Divide by 0. I want to do Teachings of Archaics to get the value there. Now they could go Binding, which is kind of annoying. But I'm not against it. Interesting to have these temples over a Triome. I think I would, on average, probably have the Triome. Yeah, so we see Extinction Event. Perfect. So again, on 6, I'm not concerned. We present lethal. It's on 7 that I want to have an answer to Emergent Ultimatum. If they had a Foretell card, and that being Alrund's Epiphany, yeah, so they're just 1-for-1ing themselves here. Den is interesting, but I don't think we want that. Okay, so that kind of lets them know face up what we have. Largely okay. They can't Fatal Push this. They don't have a way to turn on Revolt, so now I have these. I think what we do, if they kill this, I just flash this in as a creature. Don't kill them that turn. Because the way we lose that game is them cast Emergent Ultimatum. We don't lose to like any one removal spell because we have the other creatures and stuff. That looks good. A lot of interaction, Fable to like deal with if we don't like this. My friends just reached out. They're doing a two-headed EDH, two-headed giant EDH tournament. And I'm going to be away for it. And that sounds like fun. Could have brought out Maelstrom Wander. In the dark, I don't want that. Because this is probably coming into play tapped onto. I said we don't want that. Okay, so this could be Esper Control. So I'm actually just gonna flash in Brazen Borrower. This can let me start putting pressure on. They might be Reanimator, actually. Oh, they're Parhelion. Okay, so that changes the way I gotta play this game. So I could anger the gods, but we die if they have a second copy. I can divide by 0 this. I could bounce the Parhelion. Okay, so what we actually do, because then they have to put... So now we bounce it. And then I go... Sciences... Get a land. Ooh. Okay, so the only downside with this line is we need to respond to them at instant speed. So I think we do that. It's a bit tricky. Play out the land for this turn. Because in the next turn I can do Fable. Yeah, they just choose to go to discard there. And then what I can do again is, with the trigger on the stack, I can go Brazen Borer. That's fine. That also means I can't necessarily discard. Do this again. I have the Spell Pierce. Can I do anything? Just double anger. I think it's the right line by us. They just had the Pierce. Usually don't see Pierce out of them. I think I can stay alive a turn. Get one more chance. Make a Shredder. Had all the answers there. That's another matchup. We gotta be mindful because it changes our angle of attack quite a bit for that matchup, where normally I want to jam fires, but we can't really afford to tap out. I didn't know if they had another Grease Fang in hand. There could have been the line where we just fire, like anger the gods there, but then we kind of go shields down. We basically got by Spell Pierce. We had the answer there to kind of tempo them out for a turn. Could have potentially played like a slower game. It's an interesting hand. I think we try it. Why couldn't you be here last turn? Okay, Proctor Control. Okay, so I missed a line drop. Nice veto there. Getting Fable down here is going to be really good. Fortunately, the trigger goes on the stack with the land, so you can't respond to the land, which makes it a bit difficult. That was an angle that you might want to look at doing. Like, I can't kill with them doing the Lotus Field on the stack. Opponent just decided that was enough. Kind of an interesting, like, I'm sure they have more than enough ways to deal with my stuff. We'll lead on basic island. It's interesting, they're doing all the Mirage basics. So I think same play, we force the Bone Crusher to see if they have the veto. If they do, then we drop. Okay, so that went pretty quick. So getting this going early is great. It'll allow me to Cavalier next turn if they don't kill my token. Midnight Clock. So here, I'm actually going to go the tempo play and take them off the clock. This means they can't Teferi next turn. They might be short on mana. And lets me have the Fable up. They're going to be kind of incentivized next turn anyways to counter or to sweep my board, so I'll hold this up to just flash at instant speed. We have a lot of 5-drops in our deck. So we'll just do Karuga to hand. Flash and Brazen on their turn. So we could see Spring Verdict here. Elspeth conquers the death. Admittedly annoying, but I think we're okay.
Guess you don't need me anymore.
Because what I can do here needed an untapped land. Let's put you back. And you back. Put you on top. Scry you away. So I'll have the treasure token that I can make a copy of Cavalier on their end step. I was hoping for the land. We had a few looks at it. Okay, see Dreamy. Could have March. Probably want to get Hall the Storm Giants. Just do that. So they could have March here, but they're gonna have to discard a bunch of stuff. And then I'll have another Cavalier coming. Yeah, they see the writing on the wall. All right. So thoughts on this one? It was fine. I think with the current meta though, the mono red version just having access to more removal. I like having a Karn package, lets you play other kind of artifacts, lets you hate on the graveyard decks, stuff like that. Brazen Bar is fine. We actually had an okay control matchup. Divide by Zero is a card that could probably see more play in the format. Really good tempo kind of spell. We have like the Cavaliers were largely okay. Flames are still pretty good in this shell. Kiki still is a very good card. I would even want more Chandras in here potentially, but let me know what you think. Catch you next time, and if you can, drop a like, comment, and subscribe.